All right, America. Here's what I want to tell you about. 2 p.m. today. What?
That was a good, strong start. You came roaring out of the gate here. Yes,
how,
out of the timeout.
I mean, I can't do anything.
You roared. You roared.
That was all right, America.
But you didn't say it with conviction. You weren't Bryce Harper running around the bases with a bandana like you limped in.
All right, you say it.
He tried.
I mean, I don't start enough of the segments.
All right, America.
You know what, Dan?
This is what I want to tell you about.
Dan, go to the air store.
Oh, wow.
No? Oh, wow. He's not moving. For the audio audience, Dan is not moving.
Wait a minute, but because
I'll
you started the segment, listen. Everyone knows what just happened there. The show was tossed to you.
You have to let sentences breathe sometimes. All right?
That one was choking. that sentence wasn't breathing.
I want to play that back.
It was stillborn.
I think it was fantastic.
You don't want to play it back.
You do not. You did not.
All right, America.
You think the beginning of this? All right, wait. Okay. You know what?
It was missing the clap.
Yeah, video. Go ahead and cut that up, and at some point we will play that back to you. But can you tell America, because you came in here wanting to genuinely help the country.
I don't feel like helping anyone right now.
So do you want?
I hope it's a real emergency today.
Do you want to help or not?
At 2:20 today, something's going to happen. 2:20
at 2:20 Eastern today, there is going to be an alert on all devices, all radios, all televisions, all cell phones, and it would have scared the shit out of you. But now I told you, I warned you. It is a nationwide test of the Federal Emergency Alert System. We'll broadcast at approximately, so maybe not exactly 2:20.
Okay.
But if I didn't say this to you people, God, I hate everyone right now.
Yeah.
I am
from
so
2:15
livid.
to 2:25.
I've never been more angry at
You're
everybody.
also reading the prompter like
you.
Donald Trump with the two little, like, you're jacking off giraffes.
Just 2:20, you're gonna get an alert. That's it,
All
man.
right, you know what, Chris? Okay. I know. Look,
He just did.
I know. Here, Chris, come back. You
know what? I'll go to the air store.
Wait, Chris, please.
He's not letting you go either.
You know what? I'll take the elevator.
Chris. Where'd
it go?
That visual joke is so old.
He won. He won, Dan.
He always checkmates me.
Bishop to Rook 9.
Okay.
That was passed down from his dad. No?
Yes. Well, what has happened here? Thank you, Stugotz. Yes. What has been passed down from his dad? I understand why he stubbornly would not want to sit in the juices of what is presently happening to him. He is leaking confidence, and there is nothing worse in this place for the piranha who feed than somebody who is obviously leaking confidence. And we would do him a great favor if he were to slither into another room and crawl out of here on his hands and knees, because we are embarrassing him right now. But you haven't fallen far from the tree, because your father will only take so much before he legitimately gets mad at us. And we have found, finally, after much, much time, Chris Cote's sensitive spot. The reading gets to him. He does not have confidence in his reading. And us looking at him and making fun of how he reads feels like fourth grade cruelty. It feels like the way children are cruel.
I've been there.
Our studio team does have the video of how this segment started.
All right, he's hiding though. Wait a minute.
right.
Make sure video team close up on him and his face and everything as he watches this, as he takes the elevator back up. And video team, we'll wait for him. We'll wait for him to get here.
Oh, there he is.
I love that they installed one of those.
You got to check the watch every time you're on the elevator.
The watch.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you check your watch every time you're on the elevator? I've done that with the Pepsi in my hand. And I spilled it all over the floor just because I so nervously check my watch all the time. Yeah. I don't even wear a watch.
Let's see how terribly I set up this segment. All right, America. Here's what I want to tell you about. Okay. Oh, so I stumbled.
It's the
between.
pause.
Here's what I want
It's
to
the
tell you.
fifth word.
I stumbled. I make a little jump over a word. That's all I did.
Let's see it again.
All right, America. Here's what I want to tell you about. So if I just go, here's what I want to tell you about.
There was also a pause after that.
There was an adjustment of the sunglasses that I think threw you
That's called
off.
showmanship. That's called turning it the bleep on.
All right. Well, speaking of that, thank you
America.
for my
what I wanna
well-produced
tell you
segue. We'll.
It was an overreaction from you guys. It was not as bad. The way you guys reacted to the way I started this segment.
Speaking of showmanship, it's okay. Lately around here, it has been amusing to watch people, to watch the way that people have reacted to anything that has come out of here on the Lillard and Miami Heat and Portland front. I did tell you that for whatever it is that we were doing around here, performance art or not, that we just saw a macro intersection moment with Lillard and what Portland did to him to readjust and reassert the power dynamics in that league. But we told you along that whole process, Stugotz, and this part's interesting, man, because it's why Silver came out and said, we're not doing it this way anymore, where everyone just comes out and says where they want to go. We're stopping this as a league now with Lillard on how publicly you're allowed to leverage a fan base that you care about because you're the latest disgruntled superstar. Lillard did it softly. He didn't want to lose that relationship with Portland and the fan base. He did it as gently as you can because it mattered to him, that relationship. And I'm guessing he's partly hurt right now because the GM, it didn't matter to him that way to protect Lillard, which is understandable, by the way. His job is to do his job.
He's mad at a GM who got him to Milwaukee, gave him the best shot of winning a title he's ever had.
Let's skip past that part just to how you have to do it, which is James Harden's way of doing it, where it's being reported that James Harden is now going to show up and he's going to make a scene. And we already have, Stugotz, what this can look like in still photographs when he's at the nightclub and they're around him, with the fair, the sparklers, and Daryl Morey is a liar because he's going to go to Philadelphia and he's going to keep attacking the organization until he gets out of there. And it's the mess you're usually trying to avoid that Portland knew Damian wasn't going to do. So they called his bluff right there. It's, oh, yeah, your agent's going to go out there and say you won't accept trades to anybody, and then you'll tell that team you're not going to be traded. Okay. Yeah, let's see you do that. Let's see you do that to Portland's fan base where they can just blame you. What do you mean you didn't want to play with Giannis? What do you mean we could have gotten on? And then they'll leak it. They will leak what the offers were. And if you tried to help your superstar and didn't help your team, the GM will have not done his cold-blooded job. That may or may not set forth the first domino on, no, we want the power back now. Superstar doesn't get to go wherever Superstar wants to go.
He also had the opportunity to make things a mess and try to get the narrative back on his side when, according to that Chris Haynes report, and it frames Damian in a very positive light, but they called his bluff successfully, and they said, we're not sending you to Miami. He, in turn, responded by saying, okay, then I don't want to leave. It was either Miami or Portland for me. I want to stay here. They told him, no, we've gone too far now. You're not coming back. When that happened, he didn't do what was necessary to get the public on his side to make things messy. Is it because the plan all along was to, I'd be fine with Milwaukee? Because he ended up working something out with Milwaukee by having his agent contact the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks.
The agent part is interesting, right? Because it takes two here when it comes to the disgruntled superstar. It also takes an agent not being willing to bend either. And I think Dame's agent ended up in a position where it was clear what was happening in Portland. Now these conversations happen of you're not coming back, and he's just looking for a solution for Dame rather than trying to make the mess that James Harden and his team have over and over and over again.
It is so, Stugotz, interesting to me to watch the coverage of this. The Ringer came out with a story where GMs are thrilled that this happened. Yes, of course. Of course.
They get the power back. Yeah.
They don't like when you can be strong-armed and Kyrie Irving's in charge or Kevin Durant's in charge and they can just keep asking. The league doesn't like it. It's interesting fodder. We're interested. It's nonstop commercial television.
Did Portland's GM do his job correctly?
Yeah. Yes.
Correctly. He made his team better.
That is correct.
He's not worried about Dame's relationship with the Portland fan base.
But Stugotz, the place,
nor should he be.
Understood, but for 12 years, every GM had to be. And for many years before that as well, Stugotz. Like, you're right. The cold-blooded business of it. Man, you celebrated Damian Lillard an awful lot for his loyalty to Portland. It bought a lot with you while he was there. Like, that's the guy who's doing it the right way. And at the end, that usually gets some kind of grace from the human beings.
It does, but he wanted to leave, Dan. He wanted to leave that fan base. And I know he wanted to go to Miami, but they put him in a pretty good spot.
Stugotz,
a winning spot.
Stugotz, here's where you're not wrong, and it's exactly where he gets checkmated. Whatever you care about your image and your public, James Harden doesn't care that Philadelphia is going to get mad at him.
That's where I want to go with this, because you just question aloud, did Portland's GM just give a new template to how you handle this? And I think no, because Damian Lillard is a different cat. He handles things differently, and he went back hat in hand and said, okay, well, then if it's not Miami, then it'll be Portland for me. He handles things differently. We already know how James Harden handles this. It's not – he's requested more trades than all of the other NBA superstars combined. Remember, we've seen this actually play out in Houston, where he demanded to go. They said, we don't have a deal in place, and he went back there, and he made a mess of things for them to the point that they had to go, because James Harden has a lot of experience in this department, and NBA GMs, if they're taking any lessons from Damian Lillard, that's a wrong comparison.
And the funny thing is, we talk about Harden, but he always gets the job done. He's like, hey, I want to get traded. Guess what? He's in another place another season later, and it's happened 3 times already.
I can't wait to see what he does. Like, what's he going to do? He is not going to make that a tenable situation.
He's going to gain 30 pounds.
Shave
That's
his beard.
a different team.
No beard.
He's got to shave his beard.
That's the key.
That's making a scene.
I'm with you, Jeff.
If you want a scene, show up without that beard on your face, and nobody will want you there.
What can he do creatively? Because it's not like Daryl Morey hasn't prepared for what's coming. Daryl Morey also arrives in this gamesmanship drama place. Good Lord, the guy brought you to the brink of China and the NBA partnership. He's lived at these heights before, and he hasn't yet traded him, and he knows the storm that this way comes, Stugotz. Like this, and it also risks Embiid's future here as well. Like, this is complicated in protection of your franchise when this GM made this player, and now this player is willing to make it this uncomfortable.
Well, what do you think he should do? Because his obligation, as I said earlier, is to make the Sixers as good as he can make the Sixers.
I'm asking you, what should Harden do? Like, how bad?
Shave the beard.
How bad is this gonna? How bad is this gonna get?
Where Portland was a unique situation in that the GM was emboldened by the fact that he did not have an owner there. It was a trust, so he didn't have to worry about the personal relationships there. James Harden has lived through this time and time again, and always won.
He's going to play holding an ice cream cake. All right, America. Amin Hassan is here. From Oddball.
Great start.
He must be so confused.
His basketball coverage is better than mostly everybody's. You can catch it daily on the Le Batard and Friends YouTube channel and on the DraftKings network. I'm happy that you're here because it has been a minute. What you think I'm being insincere? Why are you looking around?
Well, that's the question, Dan.
You don't think he's happy?
No, I feel like he feels attacked. Look, this is what's been happening lately. Amin is doing a lot of things for the company. Right. So he bombs in here sideways. He's flying in from Arizona, and sometimes it takes him a second to get his footing and his energy. I've been telling him lately, you sound sleepy. So I'm trying to fire him up at the start of a segment. Right. He sits in the Cote seat. He becomes Cote a little bit. So I'm trying to get him ready for the show. He hasn't been here for a couple of hours. So you're ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
The Lillard stuff and the Jrue Holiday stuff.
Yeah.
You called Jrue Holiday a corpse, and the Heat were surprised at how much they got from the Celtics in exchange for Jrue Holiday. So it suggests that the Heat and you have a different value of Jrue Holiday than Boston did. By leaps and bounds, I couldn't believe you called him a corpse before any of this happened.
All right, so obviously, when I said that, I was literally just stepping off a plane and bombarded with, I hope he's not driving. That sounds dangerous.
It was odd how that triggered you.
I don't know why.
So you were angry.
You were like, all right, Billy,
I'm
in the car. I'm going to show you.
Because he's working too much. Because we don't leave him alone. I mean, the resentment seeped out right there. That's your excuse?
The idea that I was driving, well, I don't.
Billy was looking out for your safety.
No, he wasn't. He's kind of calling me irresponsible.
No. It was more a commentary on this guy can't even drive his car and we can't leave him alone. You know what I mean? Like, he's driving somewhere. We need to get to him right now. Like, let's let him arrive safely wherever he's going.
Kick, save, and abuse.
So
happy you're here, I mean.
So that's why you call the first-team All-NBA defender a corpse.
Well, here's the deal.
It's terrible.
No. Hold on.
It's just terrible.
It's an
I was in a mood because
No.
you guys were asking me to talk too much.
It's an exaggeration I'm about to criticize him, and I'm glad you brought that up. I think Jrue Holiday benefits from two things, right? Typically in sports, people who have accomplished, we don't like to acknowledge it's starting to slip away. Everyone doesn't, like, people most of the time don't want to be the first to that, Stugotz notwithstanding, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of, yes, he is a great defensive player. He's been a great defensive player. Oh, I don't want to say he's not quite the great defensive player he once was, even though why sat first round of the playoffs?
Jimmy Butler torched him.
Torched him and said he can't effing guard me.
Yeah, while he was down in a playoff game, which is an alpha move, Kirk Goldsberry on his social media channels put out an excellent video detailing exactly how much Jrue Holiday struggled against the Miami Heat.
He's fallen off. Like, he's not what he once was, but nostalgia / people don't want to be the first to it, keep getting him the accolade, right? The other part of it is, and I can't stress this enough, Jrue Holiday is a fundamentally incredibly decent human being. He's a great guy. He does a lot of great things for people off the court, away from the sport. Him and his wife, Lauren Holiday, right? Because of that, people also want to be slow on saying, he's not quite what he was, because of such a great guy. He's great with the media. He's great with the community. And also, he was a great defensive player. So no one wants to say the things like, he doesn't quite guard like he used to. And also, as a decision maker on the court, leaves a lot to be desired. And I'm not talking about lately. I don't know, even in that finals, I'm watching and I'm like, is anyone else watching him make these decisions, these really, really questionable decisions? So for me, Jrue Holiday, his calling card ain't quite what it used to be. His offense is, I think, he's a good shooter, but a little bit overrated. So in that regard, I'm saying he's not a prized commodity. And then here come the Celtics, and they give up 2 rotation guys who may not be able to pass physicals, so we'll be fair there, and 2 first-round picks. One of them is top 5 protected, I believe, from the Warriors, and the other one is an unprotected Celtics pick in the future. That's a lot for a guy who isn't quite what he once was. And so I was shocked, and I said, you know what, Cronin, tip of the hat. I said, man, what are you going to get for Jrue Holiday? He got a lot. Now,
that's what swung the trade. Like that is
absolutely
that is the thing that happened. I think we've covered this enough for people to
being
understand
able to get that much for Holiday.
When I'm telling you throughout this process that the Heat are like, if someone else values him more than this offer, then they can have him. Like that there isn't going to be a back and forth on this if there's a better offer for them. For them, after everything happens, to be like, that was a better offer. That we were surprised what they got from Boston. We did not have that as part of the equation. They got beat on the bet, and they put down their sword.
I understand what you're saying about the drop-off, especially defensively, but you're not asking him in Boston to be your second-best player. You're asking Jrue Holiday to be your third-best player. Your third-best player. That's a pretty good third-best player. I mean, it is.
I would say you're asking to be your fourth-best player. Porzingis is their third-best player.
Even better.
So, but then you just gave up 2 rotation guys and 2 first-round picks for a fourth.
Stugotz,
I know, but those are rotation guys. You just said they might not pass physicals.
That doesn't mean they're not going to play, but they're not. Yeah,
they're always hurt.
Okay, but let's do it this way then, because I think I have this right. You tell me if I have it wrong. That some people were making fun of me with the idea of Mike Ryan criticizing the Heat when I'm saying that's the team that really just broke up the Celtics. Like, maybe didn't break them up, but people were objecting to that phrasing. But when you take heart and soul, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, and you take 2 other guys, Brogdon, who was brought in to be a key piece, and Williams, who when they were the best defense in the league, he was vital to that. They just lost what was their either 3rd, 4th, and 5th best player or 4th, 5th, and 6th best player and replaced them with Porzingis and now Jrue Holiday. So are they better? Because I think most people think they're better.
I don't think they're better, and here's why. Porzingis is hurt again, right? Plantar fasciitis. He hasn't proven to be, as much as people say Robert Williams is never healthy, Porzingis ain't exactly a model of health either, number one. Number two, I think what Robert Williams does defensively for them, and for as much as you want to attack how many games he's played in the regular season, he shows up in the playoffs, and he plays really well for them, right? In terms of being a rim protector and being able to guard guys that are bigger than him. I don't think Porzingis does well guarding guys one-on-one. He's much better as a weak side defender. So there's that. There's also, hey, buddy, I know you've just had the best offensive year of your career. Are you ready to buckle up for the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum show where just stand your ass over there? So there's a question there. I think Smart, the leadership and the toughness him and Grant Williams provided, that's lost for them. And I think that's a big deal. You get some of that back with Holiday. You get some of that back. But again, he's a new guy coming in to a team that's been to the finals, been to conference finals. I know he's won a title, but like, are guys willing to listen to him in the way that they were willing to listen to Marcus Smart, who had built that equity over time?
Al Horford's still there. So
Al Horford's 37 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me, I have gone too long past the allotted time that we are allowed around here contractually to not talk about Taylor Swift.
I thought we were going to talk about the other guy, but okay.
We're not going to talk about that. We've gone one day without talking about the other guy, so we're
almost at 2. So
okay.
yeah.
But
keep it going.
But I think the board should be changed to days without talking about Taylor Swift because
we'll split the board.
We have some we have some sound here.
We can't have 2 boards, can we?
Can we have 2 boards?
No.
I don't know.
I think we can have 2 boards. You know
We don't
what?
have the budget for
Let's
it.
splurge. Let's go.
No!
Another board.
Dan, you know what they say about shows that have 2 boards? It means they don't have one. I mean,
Thank you, Stugotz.
I had to finish there, guys.
I want.
We all got in.
I want. He called for the ball. I got that one myself. No help from the group. That's an easy one.
You don't have any.
Those are putts for me.
I was
Putts.
glad to have it though.
Let's play the Mad Dog sound though for Stugotz because I don't know that people realize what's happening here. Stugotz was in the lane drafting behind Mad Dog until he got right behind Mad Dog, and then Mad Dog said, "You want to see what Mad Dog looks like?" And he turned on like I'm gummy.
my move now.
I'm gummies and 10 grand a game, and I'm on first take, and I'm revving into the sky. Stugotz, I'm going to leave you in the dust. I don't have any time for you trying to steal my act. I still got moves at 60, and the moves sound like this.
And Kansas City gets every call known to man, so I don't want to hear about the Chiefs. They get every call known to man. They have forever. And I've had enough of Taylor Swift. I said that last week. I'll say it again. Enough. Again, Len Dawson. Go to a history book.
The best.
And, maybe the NFL wants Taylor Swift. I know, keep the Chiefs relevant, so and not that they wouldn't be anyway, but we can go out there and we can see Taylor hanging out with Travis Kelce for the next 50 weeks. I mean, is that the deal here? I got to sit there and see her in every booth known to man? I mean, she's never heard of do you think she knows who Phil Simms is? I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, playing that site? Oh, my God, enough. Even my daughter's killing me now on Taylor Swift. The Swifties have come after me.
Do you realize? I don't know that the audience has realized that Stugotz is enough. It was recycled and rebaked. Mad Dog was doing that 15 years ago before Stugotz would get sick of people because they were in the news too much.
I wasn't imitating Chris Russo. I started mocking him. That's what I started doing because you can't get better than that. Like, he's the best ever. He's the best ever do it. Yeah.
Mad Dog is now name 3 songsing Taylor Swift when it comes to Chiefs football players.
I do
Len
love
Dawson.
that. I love that as a quiz, right? Do you know who Phil Simms is?
No.
And if you don't, you're not a football fan.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you know who Phil Simms is, and do you deserve to be a football fan if you don't know who Phil Simms is? But I want to get back to the funniest 2 words in all of that diatribe. Len Dawson. Comedically perfect, but now let's go to the stat sheet. I want to hear, please, Chris Cote, tell me what it is that Taylor Swift missed. What years did Len Dawson play? Because I believe Len Dawson smoked cigarettes during games.
Man,
for sure.
He played 57 to 75.
Jesus.
His peak, I'd say, was
Iron Man.
62 to 69. Those were the best years.
Nice.
And give me the best of those best years.
Oh, he had 30 touchdowns once in a season.
Yep.
How many interceptions? Did he throw a lot of interceptions?
Oh, a lot. 19, 18. These are the good years. In the good years, he had 17 interceptions, 19, 18, 14, 10. So,
Dan, you're missing it. It's not about the stats. It's about how can you go to the Super Bowl, halftime, smoke a heater, and then go on to win.
Halftime.
Yeah, I
he's
think
on
that-
the sideline, bro. In the
Oh.
middle of the game, defense is on the field.
It's a different
He's
time.
like,
Sorry, I didn't know about Len Dawson's game like that. I'm
Marlboro
sorry, I
Reds.
apologize.
You fool! You fool!
Did them joints even have a filter?
Len Dawson was throwing for 30 touchdowns with a cigarette in his mouth before your daddy had a romantic thought about your
Before
mother.
he was born.
You idiot. We spend an awful lot of time talking about quarterbacks. We spend an awful lot of time having no understanding whatsoever how difficult a position that is. And we spend an awful lot of time, even if you work with expertise in football, measuring successfully the value of quarterbacks. It's fairly amazing how much we talk about this, but we don't have any idea sometimes that Tom Brady can play, and everyone in the league doesn't think so, or Executive of the Year Bill Polian thinks that Lamar Jackson is not a quarterback and he wins the MVP. You give Daniel Jones a bunch of money, and now all of us are like, well, I don't know if he's worth that amount of money.
And Brock Purdy might be the best quarterback in the NFL.
So we bring in RG3. He's here. He's got a new partnership with Wave Sports and Entertainment, and we will talk about his new podcast where I'm assuming he will talk some football and other things. But explain to me why it is we're so bad at this. Is it because it's such a hard position to project, and so many things go into telling you whether or not someone is good? Anyone would have looked at you playing and said, he's great at quarterback. You got into the perfect system, and it broke your physical body because the sport is really hard. And I would like for you to just walk me through this labyrinth. Do you know who's good? Do you know who's good? You're watching, and you can do all the assessments and tell me, well, 10 sacks isn't Daniel Jones's fault.
I would say that there's just not a lot of coaches out there in the NFL that know how to develop quarterbacks. You know, when you see a guy play and you know he can play, it gets into this whole weird world of, oh, well, can he process information, and is his footwork great? And like Aaron Rodgers has a very unique footwork. I think we would all agree about that. But it works for him and his body. It doesn't work for every single quarterback. So far too often coaches try to coach guys according to a certain blueprint, but that's not always how it goes. Look at CJ Stroud. CJ said, I'm not a test taker, right? I'm a football player. He scored bad on that one test, according to the rumors. And now he's playing the best of all the rookie quarterbacks with the Houston Texans, with a group of weapons that most people thought he wouldn't be able to play good with. So when I see it, I know it. I know that Caleb Williams is a great player. I know that Michael Penix Jr. is a great player, and I know that Shadir Sanders is a great quarterback. It's about where they go and the support system that they have in the NFL. That's going to determine whether or not they make it. And that's really what it boils down to. It's not about just footwork. It's not about just processing speed. It's not just about leadership. It's about the leadership of the organization that they go to. And right now you see an influx of quarterbacks coming in and out of the league and being rotated through because these organizations don't know how to develop them.
Who's the best at developing quarterbacks right now?
I mean, I think for a long time it's been Andy Reid. And it's not just because of Patrick Mahomes. It's just look at his track record with the quarterback spot. You know, going back to Donovan McNabb, you look at him being able to rehabilitate Michael Vick when he came out of prison, what he got out of Alex Smith there in Kansas City for a few years, and then what he's done with Patrick Mahomes. He's by far the best, but he doesn't try to change his guys. Donovan was unique, you know, not the most elusive, or I don't want to say that, not the fastest runner, but a big guy, strong, and was elusive. Michael Vick, completely different, very fast and elusive. Look at Alex Smith, could run, right? Straight line speed, but not the most elusive guy in the world. And Patrick Mahomes is just like a conglomerate of all those guys put together with less speed. So a coach's ability to take what his guy does best and apply that to the rest of what they're doing in their game plan, I think is a special thing. And right now people don't want to admit it, but there's just, you know, coaching is behind in the NFL as opposed to where it is in college football right now.
I have not heard a lot of that, but I want to go down a path with you about how you would have fared, or if you've considered how you would have fared if Andy Reid had gotten a hold of you at the beginning, how that would have played out differently. But before I do that, is that in the background a pterodactyl, a child, a swinging, a rusty swing set? Like, what is happening? What is shrieking in the background there?
I thought that was on our end.
I wasn't sure if you guys could hear that, okay? But just like my podcast setup, that's our 8-month-old daughter, Gia, the one that I ran off the football field for. So at times, she's just going to scream out. I think she was screaming because she was agreeing with what I was saying, you know, but that's just me being a dad trying to make it make sense.
I will ask you about that.
She likes Andy Reid.
That day 8 months ago, you ran right off of television when you learned you were having a baby.
Yep.
But before we do that, though, answer my question about what you
Yeah.
think would have happened differently if Andy Reid had been the coach.
Well, it's funny you asked that because at the Combine, Andy Reid, when he was still with the Philadelphia Eagles, actually had a meeting with me. And at this point in time, I kind of knew where I was probably going to end up in the draft order-wise. And Philly was outside of that, well outside of that. But he had the meeting with me, and he told me, hey, you never know what can happen in this league. You never know what can happen in the draft. So I wanted to sit you down, talk with you, and you'll just pick your mind when it comes to football. I thoroughly enjoyed that meeting. Now, I'll say this. I don't ever look back and say, man, I wonder what would have happened if this, or I went there. I went to Washington. That was where I was supposed to be. Everything that happened when I was in Washington was part of my journey. It's part of my story, and I'm a better man, father, and player because of it. But if you ask me, had I gone with Andy Reid, would he have tried to kind of change who I was as a player and or as a person in his system? No, I don't think that would have happened. I look at Lamar Jackson and him being able to go to an organization like the Baltimore Ravens that fully accepted who he was, fully allowed him to be himself. You know, Lamar talks a little bit different. He wears his hair a little bit different, and they embrace that. Good organizations, great organizations know how to embrace what makes a player who he is and then build upon that. And I didn't have that when I went to Washington. But like I said, it's part of my journey. And with Andy Reid, I think it would have been more similar to what Lamar has been going through and the support he's had with the Baltimore Ravens, because it comes from the top down. And when Andy Reid was in Philly, they had stability there. And I think that's important for a young quarterback to have the stability with not just the head coach, but with how they do business from the top down.
With respect to what you said about not liking to look back, most people would look at the surface. You had a wonderful rookie season, and
Right.
the coaches that you had in Washington, they revisit every time they're on primetime football. Look at this staff. It's an all-star staff of coaches. And while Andy Reid certainly has this great reputation, Kyle Shanahan is now looked at as one of those guys, and he was with you in Washington. And when you talk about cohesiveness throughout the organization, what was the single biggest impediment to you in Washington from that amazing rookie year and all that promise to where things turned for you? Because a lot has been written about it, and I haven't heard so much from you. So what was it?
Yeah, I mean, I think your point is kind of going back to that graphic of all the coaches that were in Washington that are now head coaches and doing extremely well. You talk about Kyle Shanahan, you're talking about Sean McVay, Mike McDaniel, Matt LaFleur, and even Bobby Slowick, who's the coordinator for the Texans right now. It's one of those situations where in life certain things just weren't meant to be. So although all those coaches have gone on to become head coaches and are doing really good in the league or great in the league right now, at that time they just weren't ready for that. And I do think it was because of the structure of the organization from the top down, how they did business. And what I didn't know going into Washington was that there was a rift between the owner and the head coach. I didn't know that. Listen, man, I was a 22-year-old kid coming in there, having all my dreams come to a reality, being able to play quarterback in the NFL, playing with some of my favorite players ever when Santana Moss, talking about Chris Cooley, Trent Williams, our left tackle, London Fletcher was our middle linebacker. It's like I was living the dream and didn't understand that the NFL at that time, I didn't understand the NFL is purely a business. And there was something going on between the owner and the head coach, and I was dead smack in the middle of it. And it wasn't necessarily anything that I did to be in that, but that's just the reality of the situation. And for me to go out there, I just wanted to win and play football. So I played through injury because I wanted to do it for my guys, and that set my career back. And, I think the rest of it is something that can be, talked about at a different time. I've moved past it. I've moved past all those years and just used them as a learning lesson moving forward. But at some point, I will break it down and talk about it. It just won't be today.
What did you make this season after week 1? So Aaron Rodgers goes down, and then you're on Get Up, and you're talking about, and you're trying to make a larger point about quarterbacks who are not getting another chance because they've been told behind the scenes are a distraction. And you were mentoring yourself in that conversation, and Dominique gives you kind of like this side look, and then everyone took that exchange as being, you were trying to position yourself to get that Jets job. How did you receive the reaction to the point you were trying to make, which was not, I think I should be the quarterback of the Jets?
Yeah, man, you guys know Dominique. So Dominique is always facial expression. And what people didn't, what they didn't see online from the initial clip that went viral was they cut the clip when I made the point that even I wouldn't give the Jets the best chance to win right now, because it's going to take me multiple weeks to go in there, get ready, learn the system, learn the players, and then be able to go play at a high level. Now that's just, it's social media, but I don't give them a pass for that. And there were some people who ended up posting those clips.
Wait a minute. They get promoted. They get promoted for that. It went viral. The context.
You're right.
Why do we need the context?
Exactly. I didn't let that fly. Right. I went after, there's a guy in Washington. I called him a weasel because he is a weasel, and he's been doing it for a long time towards me. But the point I was making, and I actually did make, was that there's guys like Cam Newton. Like, if we want to be realistic, Cam's been out of the league for a year. I've been out of the league for 2 years. We can come back and play. We are, we're better than the top 64 in the world at the position. But football is about so much more than just ability. It's about connectivity. And right now, me nor Cam nor anyone else that was on the street was going to be able to come in that building and create instant connectivity with that locker room and go out and play the position. So yeah, do I believe I can play in the league today? Yeah, I certainly believe that. I'm a confident guy, and my track record shows that I can play for the Jets in particular. If they wanted me to come in, they should have called me 3 weeks ago so I could be ready to play this week. But guess what? Zach Wilson went and played his tail off. And that's what I've been trying to preach. Just give the guy a little bit of time. He's not going to be Aaron Rodgers, but the way he played against Patrick Mahomes should give you hope. And I think it gave that locker room some hope that maybe they can sneak into the playoffs if they can put a couple wins together throughout the stretch.
How at peace are you with never playing football again?
Oh, I'm at peace. I'm at peace with it. It's not a situation of desperation. And I think you guys, you know where I'm coming from with that, because as a player, you're only going to get so many years to play. Tom Brady's the greatest of all time at the quarterback position, and he only played for, 20 years? It's a lot, don't get me wrong, but he's got 40 years left of his life to live. And for me right now, I'm doing something in media and showing different sides of myself that I can do for the next 30 to 40 years. And to me, that I feel great about that. So to be able to go back and play, it would have to be something that it just makes sense for me to go do that. And right now, those opportunities haven't been presented to me. So I'm not in a place of desperation. I saved my money, thank God, and did everything that I was supposed to take care of my family. And all I'm doing right now is having fun. If somebody wants me to jump back in there and put a helmet on, I'll certainly do it. But it's got to be the right situation.
How's week 8 for the Jets? What do you think?
Say that again?
How's week 8 for the Jets? What do you think?
Is that too late, maybe? Maybe a little earlier?
No, listen.
Next week?
I am a supporter of Zach Wilson right now because everybody's been on him like white on rice. And if the Jets were to come to me next week and say, hey, we'd like to bring you in and get you ready to start for us, for the rest of the year, I would certainly do it. Like, it's been no secret there.
Look at that.
Can't put this one on the weasel.
It's been no secret.
Clip it right there. Clip it right there.
This one's not the weasel's fault. This one's all you. You did this to you.
RG3 and the Ones has to be a podcast that is done by a player who doesn't have to read defenses. You just neutered your partnership with Wave Sports and Entertainment by selling yourself out to the Jets.
Listen, Wave Sports and Entertainment will travel with me. We'll make sure we have the podcast and we play football.
The new starting quarterback for the New York Jets, America.
You can do podcasts from anywhere, Dan.
Week 8 or earlier from the huddle. Yes, sir.
But Dan, listen. There's a lot of players that are afraid to say they want to play. When they're done, they're afraid to say they want to play. I'm not afraid to say that, man. I love the game of football. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's why I'm trying to celebrate the game and tell guys stories the right way. And I think we should all do that.
I'm itching myse scratching myself, because that's what I do when I get excited.
You're so excited. You're also rolling a booger in your hand.
I mean, that's excitement. We got a quarterback.
RG3, thank you for making the time for us. On your way out, though, what are you trying to do? There are a lot of people in this space, in the podcast space. everyone has seen, what brand management can do for you as an ex-athlete. You're going to be competitive with the rest of your life. You want to have a successful broadcasting career. What are you trying to do with this? How will yours be different?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm on ESPN. I call games, and now I have an opportunity to have a safe space to be able to connect with the football community that wants to celebrate the game. It's called RG3 and the Ones because I'm going to be talking to one-of-one type of guys, but it's also because I want the listener to become one of those ones. When you talk to the greats, there's little gems that you can find from them that you can apply to your own life. And for me, it's not just about talking football. It's about talking life. It's about finding ways to create connectivity and to inspire people. So that's why my podcast is going to be different. We're going to have a ton of fun. And I know Wave Sports Entertainment is on board, along with Whispering Oaks Productions, my production company, to have a blast, talking ball, talking life with people that people want to talk to and want to listen from.
Next time we will get parenting advice from you and get to that story of what it is that it felt like to run off that field, because you couldn't have done that during a football game. You would have had to stay in that huddle. You would not have been allowed to
save
leave.
that for his podcast, I would think.
That is true.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you. The new Jets quarterback, RG3.
Now, week 8 is San Diego. You want to come back the next week?
Los
Angeles.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
Things
it's
changed.
Oh,
quite a bit.
wow.
it's the Las Vegas.
Oh, you're talking
Raiders.
about you talking about Khalil Mack, who had a season worth of sacks in that one game?
Yeah.
No, listen.
Week
as
9?
a competitor, whenever they call you, you show up and you play. It doesn't matter who you're going against.
Thank you, RG3.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks.